Okay, before I begin the lesson, uh, tomorrow at 1 p.m. On Zoom. So if anybody wants the ID or passcode, simply email me and I'll send it to you. We started a little bit on the 150 rudimental solos in Charlie Wilcoxon. And by the way, Robert, thank you. The new guy, Ed, he's going to be happy. So we're going to continue to work from Charlie Wilcoxon, 150 rudimental solos. So let's really break down number one rather. That's in the 2/4. And let's go to the first 6/8 as well. Let's see where we're going with the 6/8. So we got solo number one. Okay, where is it? Huh. Solo number one and solo number 16. So, look at them, review them, come up with some questions if you have, and we'll work them out. I'm going to break down each measure and what's occurring in each measure, especially the 6/8. I love that because, I love that jazz thing going on. And actually, what I'm playing there is two measures of 6/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. So we're going to play the 6/8, and we're going to put some sort of drum application, or just play it and see where it goes. That's for tomorrow on Zoom. My email, mattpatella1001@gmail.com. Now, Robert, you have the PDFs I sent, the Groove Fun or Groove Development 101 or 1000 or whatever. Do you have that? Where we took half of line 5 in stick control book and half of line 6, combined them. The first two beats was line 5, 1 E and a, 2 E and a. And the third one, third beat and fourth beat are going to be the first part of line 6. There'll be 3 E and a, 4 E and a. So you have the sheet, follow the sheet. If you don't have the sheet, open up the stick control book. I'm going to play the first two measures. The first two measures of line 5 and add on the third beat and fourth beat, the first two measures of line 6. So if I played one surface as if it were in the stick control book, and I developed a new line with new sticking, which seems almost impossible, I'm playing 3 E and 4 E and right there just starts to develop a few different things there. It's just an additional, hey Ed, it's an additional sticking pattern, but the object there is to make all those sticks, the right side, not all those sticks, the right, all those strokes, all the right side and all the left side sounding the same. Now play it that slow for about 2 or 3 minutes on one surface. And it becomes stronger and, boring or whatever. But, man, it's helping you, believe me. How you doing, Edward? So what we're going to do now is we're going to take, I said, like the first two downbeats, 1, 2 of line 5, and then we're going to make 3, 4, the first two downbeats of line 6. Nice and slow. 1. And I'm going to accent the 2. 2, E, and, get to 3, it's the first measure of line 6. So I have 3, E, and 4, E, and okay, it's actually 4 E, and sorry. So you play that over and over again. 3. Now we go. 1. It gets a little confusing because of the sound. You got the paradiddle going on. And what actually, the third downbeat and the fourth downbeat are partials. It's some sort of, I don't know what you want to call it, modulation with the feel. So now I'm going to play the paradiddle. I'm going to do it nice and slow. So you play it over and over again. If you feel comfortable with it, go with it. Stay there. Now, that's really a simple pattern once you get it going on. No problem. So, actually, I'm really restricting you mentally. We're not playing this. I just played that over and over again with no bass drum part. So we're going to add the bass drum now. And we're going to do what you call the grid. And I keep getting these great ideas from the Gary Shafee book, Time Functions, his pattern series. So I follow his chart, which has been very, very helpful. And in addition to that, I will use the stick control book as foot patterns. But first, let's get real simple. And let's do the grid. That means I'm moving over my bass drum. I'm going to play my bass drum on the counts of 1 and 3 against that pattern. And then the E of 1, then the E of 3. Let's go with the 1 of 3, the 1 and 3. Nice and slow. So on and so forth. Do that another million times. And before you know it, the pattern itself is going to be innate, I guess that's the word you could use, and it's just going to flow. You don't have to think of it so much. Right now, I'm thinking of it. I'm thinking of 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and That's what I'm thinking of. But I'm doing it slow, and I'm putting all the sticking pattern where it belongs in all the voices where I assign them. And I'm trying to be as consistent with the voices as possible. As I do it slower, if there's any inconsistency on the way around again, I try to correct it. That's practicing. I'm not playing them, practicing them. So we did the 1 and 3. 1. Nice and slow. 2, E. Now 3 and 3, E, and 4, E. And again, 1, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, and sorry, I was thinking about something differently. If your mind goes away for 1 zillionth of a second, you're going to lose it. So that's on the counts of 1 and 3. So now we're going to shift the bass drum over. We're not going to play it on 1 and 3 no more. We're just going to play it on the E of 1 and the E of 3. That's going to get a little confusing. So just do it slow where you have total control over it. 1, E, 3, E, and 4, E, and I keep making that mistake right there on the 4. So it's really pissing me off that I'm making that mistake because I'm thinking about what I'm going to say. Now I'm losing my concentration, and I apologize. That pattern with the bass drum on the E of 1 and the E of 3, nice and slow. Again, I made the same mistake because I went away. All right, but you see how nice and slow? Do we understand all of that? That's practicing it. I want to be able to control my foot and the pattern, which I didn't do a good job with, sorry, on the counts of 1 and 3, then the E of 1 and the E of 3. And then we shifted over to the and of 1 and the and of 3, and then the da of 1, then the da of 3, and then we start doing combinations. But first, you have the sheets. Do the first 4, nice and slow. Just some things I want to make you aware of. Oh, I still teach you, but when I did give a lesson on the paradiddle ostinato, that wasn't a problem, to play the bass drum on 1 and 3. My voices were consistent. However, if I shift that bass drum to the E, it's not natural. It's like all the guys that try this do it. By no means, if you're going to put your bass drum on the E, don't have that bass drum control that left hand. And what I mean by control is I'm going 1. So I hit that E hard. So I put that bass drum in there. But my bass drum said, okay, come with me, left hand. And he did. No. Listen to it. Again, F4 EM. It's easy. But you get the idea. Any questions on that? You understand it, Ed? Good. But just do it slow. Now, when you get it flowing a little bit, have a little fun with it. You need to understand how to separate practice with playing it. Yeah, you have to practice it that way. And the foot patterns that slow. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and play each one slow, 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 slow. And that's practicing each one. Make sure all your voices are consistent. Not any one voice in particular controls another voice in sound with the sound. So once you feel good, maybe even with line 1. Now, that's not up tempo, but that's a playable thing, right? I mean, it feels good. So to sit there and play that over and over again, that repetition is going to make you like a machine. Yeah, when you're practicing, I want that machine to come. But when you're playing something like this, play it with a little bit of soul. Make it cook. Make it feel good. Example. I just play a simple groove. 1 and 2. And I'm going to play the pattern once. Three, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Pattern's coming. 3, 4. some sort of form. How you doing, Paul? Hello, Oyst. Hi to all. Now, you all have that sheet, so work at it. Please. We could go on and on and on with that pattern as opposed to just playing it with what was that? Huh. The right hand here. We could play a substitution with that between the bass drum and snare drum. See that? So all I did was play this pattern. Between my bass drum and my snare drum. So I did a substitution. All my rights that I was playing on the snare or on the hi-hat are now going to go on the bass drum. And my left hand remains the same. 1, E, and 2, E. And then we start opening it up with the right hand and left foot, doing the some of the ostinato patterns or stick control formulas. That's tough. But first, before we go all to those steps, you got to get this down. Agreed? Yes? No? Stick. Any questions on that? It's a good pattern. Okay, so that should be enough for that pattern. That's going to take you a long time. And, there's so much work that you have to do, incorporated into the work. 1 here, 2 here, 3, 4. Vamp into the vamp. Now I'm going to play the line. I play 1 measure vamp, 1 measure the line on 1 surface. So in reality, I'm incorporating that into my practice. Watch. Made it flow, but I didn't make it sound like a groove. I made it sound like an exercise, which I'm doing. That's what it is. But notice that snare drum. I'm here and I'm here, and they sound the same. Now, do it a few times like that and drop a 2 and 4 accent. On 1 surface and play that for a while. All different ways between the bass drum, the snare drum. Do it as a hand exercise, incorporate it into the rest of your practice, and try to play it as a groove or establish a groove and play it inside the groove and come back to the groove that you established. It's a whole lot of fun. A lot of hard work, man. Devotion. I walk around with something I just come up with, or something new, whether I have drumsticks in my hands or not. I have it in my head. And I'm walking around with it, trying it mentally. And believe me, it does get stronger when you sit and play it. Multitasking, walking, playing it, that kind of stuff. Okay, so that basically takes the care of that pattern. But you guys can do this you can come up with your own combination from the sticking patterns on page 5, 6, and 7. You could take one measure of line 5, two measures of line 6, one measure of line 7, over and over again, and develop it. Be creative. First, get it on the snare drum or the drum pad, equalizing the sound. Rights and lefts should sound the same. If you're in the other room and I'm playing line 5 or 7 or 6 or 20 or whatever, you should not hear it. Only I know I'm playing it. And people say, well, what's the sense of that? Well, that's the object of the book, is to make the right side and the left side equalized. Not that I'm playing line 1 like this. Two different sounds. They're coming down from the same spot. And we're going to get into that, Ed, that one-on-one thing. I'm going to show you all this language. Okay, Paul, it's your stage. What would you like to work on, Paul? Calling Paul. How about solo number 17? We're going to work. Paul, hold on. Let me see what 17 is. We're going to work with this stuff on Zoom, on the drum pad, on the snare drum. That's not a problem. But that's not what I wanted to do with this lesson. But, you're on, everybody on solo number 17. The Charlie Wilcoxon 150 rudimental solos. Let me know when you're there. You got it, Ed. Inga bong. It's not you guys. It's the computers. You say one thing and good. You can thank Robert. Why is it? What's going on? Did you guys lose me? What the heck is going on? Yeah, I know. I don't know why. All right, let me refresh my browser. There you go. Refresh your browser. Reload it. Just reload it. I'm back. All right, let me see if I can do this without a music stand. I wasn't prepared for it. So I'm going to take line 1. Solo number 1. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 8 measures, which repeat itself. And I don't like to play this as I'm in a marching band, but that's what it's for. So I think you should go there first to understand what's occurring. If I look at line 1, I have flam taps, flam paradiddles. You could say that's an inverted flam accent displaced, but all it is a flam at 2/16. You can call it whatever the hell you want, but that's what I call it. It's a flam at 2/16. So I'm going to play the first line nice and slow, and I'm going to play it very regimented, like if I'm playing for General So and So. Okay? You guys hear that? Okay. Any questions about the first line? Any questions about the first line, guys? Well, the first section. It's an 8-measure section. It's an 8-measure feel. Flam taps, flam paradiddles, a flamacue. The second line, the first, you have a flamacue. And you repeat it. What happens to the fifth? All right. Well, I just kind of did the line. Why the hell's it buffering? God damn it. Why is YouTube buffering?